This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com with the gorgeous Jazmin Allure from SWE Fury, many other wrestling promotions out there. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be talking to you after watching your recent match where you defeated Maddie.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, that match was really good.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to have you on. You are Mexican American, so maybe to start this off, you could tell us a little bit about growing up in Mexico.
So originally I was born in Orlando, Florida, and like I was raised there until the age of 12, and I moved to Mexico with my whole family, and we were there for like 5 years, and it was awesome. I mean, I loved it. I personally Mexico. Obviously, there is like the down parts of like you seeing the poverty and like school, which is really different from over here. It makes you more grateful, especially with me. Like I was in Florida, so like everything was so pretty and green, and then like Mexico City was totally different. But I loved it. I loved everyone's energy. Like everyone's so positive, even though like the poverty like that exists. So I really love Mexico. And then at the age of 17, I was like, okay, there's no opportunities here. I really like want to go to school, and obviously like there it's not really an option. And so I decided to move out and come over here to Texas to like pursue my dream of going to college and obviously working because in Mexico there was no jobs either. So I definitely like moved out, and then I found wrestling over here and loved it.
Were you a wrestling fan growing up? Were you a wrestling
I'm sorry, what was
fan?
that?
Were you a wrestling fan growing up, like in Mexico or anywhere else? Did you watch wrestling?
Yes, so I started watching wrestling when I was about 3 or 4, like I can remember, because I was one of those sisters that like would do everything my brother would do. So like when he would watch it, like Raw and SmackDown, these pay-per-views, I was right next to him watching it as well. And when he would go to the shows, like the live events, I would go as well. So I started watching at a young age, and then in Mexico, I definitely watched, some shows like the house shows they have, and then like CMLL, I went there a couple times. So I definitely like was always involved. Like my family, they really enjoy it. They're not like big fans, but they like to go. Anyways, my dad is a big fan, so it was something that like in my household, it was like always there.
Is wrestling as popular in Mexico as people make it out to be? When we watch movies and stuff, it seems like everybody there is a wrestling fan.
Yeah, so when I decided I wanted to be a wrestler, I was 19. My uncle took me to CMLL show, and the environment there was just amazing. Like it was incredible. It was like 20,000 people, but like the environment was just so amazing. It's really different from like a WWE show. Everyone is just like going crazy. Like they have like balloons and everything. Like the two like balloons they have, and they're just like clapping all the time. And so it's really a different environment. And that's where I was like, okay, like this is what I want to do. Like I really, really want to do this. I mean, ever since I was younger, I had like that dream, but I never like considered it. I didn't know you could make money out of it. I was just like, okay, these people are wrestling, they're like heroes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And so like as I started growing up and like going to that show, I was like, oh, I could do this. I could definitely do this. And then I came back to Austin, and the first school I saw was APW. I signed up right away, and then I found out you can make money out of it, which I didn't get into it because of that. I got into it because I loved it, but that was definitely a bonus.
There's a fan on here wondering who are some of your favorite wrestlers growing up.
It was Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, obviously, the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I always looked up to the woman, of course, because I was like, oh, like they can do it, I can do it too. Like Trish and Lita were like my top. Jazz, of course, has to be there. But really, like the women in general, like I watch their matches a lot because I was just like, oh, like, oh my God, like, these girls can do it too. They're such badass women. So yeah, it was like definitely the woman, and then Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels.
What do you think about the Undertaker retiring?
I know. I was so sad, especially my dad watched him, and then I watched him. Like 30 years in the business, way more than I've been alive. That's incredible. It's definitely sad, but I'm glad I got to see him live a couple times and like got to witness him in the ring.
Do you have any favorite matches of the Undertaker's?
My favorite would be versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. I really, really love that match.
Donovan wants to know who you were trained by, which we're going to get into now, anyways. You mentioned you started being trained in Austin, Texas, and I know you've moved on now, but could you tell us about your training?
Yes, so I started in Austin, Texas at APW. I graduated a couple months ago, and then now I'm training with Jazz at the Dog Pound. It's Jazz, Ronnie Mack, and Fender Rosa. So it's a great school, so much knowledge. I definitely recommend it. It's in San Antonio. It's definitely the best decision I ever made. Obviously, they have so much to give, and they're just so knowledgeable. I love it there. I am from Austin, and I drive there 3 times. She does. I had a match with her at SWE, a short match by the way, but it was so intimidating. Like I was supposed to be a heel too. She's Jazz, like she's just Jazz. So I got in the ring and I was like, yeah, I'm top tier. And I looked at her and she was like, ref, back her up. And in my head, I was like, you don't even need the ref. I'm a backup anyways. Like, it was so intimidating. Like, even watching her on TV growing up, I was like, oh my God, this woman, she's a badass. Like, beating up Trish all the time. It was, but and then getting in the ring with her, I was like, dream come true, but intimidated at the same time. But she's awesome. I love her. She's so knowledgeable. She's amazing. The stuff she knows is incredible, and I'm so grateful to be able to train with her.
There's a fan on here, Matt R., that wants to know how was working with Booker T's Reality of Wrestling in Texas, and did you get to meet Booker and Charmel?
I actually haven't worked Reality of Wrestling. I worked Ladies Night Out, which was in the same venue. It's like kind of Reality of Wrestling, but it's not. It's more like title match. So I was in the same building, but I did not work Reality of Wrestling, and I haven't met Booker T or his wife, unfortunately.
And as far as going to college, I understand you're still in college, majoring in business, and you're driving 3 times a week to train, plus you're doing matches. I think you're working too, maybe a regular job. How do you manage everything?
I get this asked all the time, and it's really like time management, but at the same time, it's like I don't know how I'm doing it. Like at the end of the semester, I'm like, I don't know how I did it. Like I don't know, but then I'm over there doing it again the next semester. But it really is time management. Of course, because of COVID, it actually makes things a little bit easier because it's online, and so I can do it whenever. Like sometimes I'll do it on my way back from like the shows or on my way to training. So that's a lot. Working, I usually like do time management, work in the mornings and then I'm training in the evenings and then obviously weekends off. My job is really like good with that, giving me the weekends off and then obviously school I just manage that. Sometimes I like don't, but we gotta do what we gotta do.
And you recently only just started wrestling just before the lockdown, I understand, even though you look very polished. When exactly did you actually start your wrestling career, and how has the lockdown affected your progress?
Yeah, so I debuted in January. So yeah, I debuted. I got like maybe 4 shows in, and then lockdown down for a couple months. I got that little taste of what like wrestling is, in front of a crowd. And then I was just like, I was really disappointed because like I was like, 2020 is gonna be my year. Like it's gonna be my year. I'm gonna start doing wrestling. I'm gonna finish my associate degree. And then COVID happened, and then like work and all that stuff. So it was really like hard on me, and kind of and disappointing, but I'm getting back on track. I didn't let it stop me. I worked harder, especially in quarantine. There was no training, so I was doing like my cardio outside, obviously social distancing, and at home, my home workouts. I never let it stop me from what I wanted to achieve. So I'm grateful that we got a little break because like I managed to like focus more on like the real stuff, like instead of like I was just like wrestling just to like wrestle, but now I was like, no, what do I want to do with wrestling? I want to make a career out of it. So it helped me like focus more on what I wanted.
For someone that hasn't seen you wrestle, as many of these fans probably haven't seen you wrestle yet, but I suggest you guys check out the match that SWE allowed me to post versus Maddie. But how would you describe your wrestling style? Are you a high flyer? I know you hit hard for a smaller wrestler, but how would you describe it to the fans?
So it really depends who I'm facing. Sometimes I do high flying stuff. I could do like mat work too. My match with Maddie was different than my usual matches. I didn't do usually like I do some lucha spots in there, but with her I tried to just keep it simple and more psychology. Um, so that match was actually really different. That was like it was one of my best matches, and it was totally different from what I usually do. I usually do like head scissors and lucha stuff and lucha spots, but with her, I try to keep it like just more old school because it is SWE and that's really like their kind of style. So I did like a bunch of pins, smarting her. Um, it was definitely like old school, like the hip toss, like chops, forearms. It was really different, but usually it kind of is like lucha, and especially you're gonna see that a little bit more in the future.
There's a fan on here, Jefferson, that wants to know how you chose the name Jazmin Allure.
Jazmin Allure. Jasmine is my name. It's my middle name actually, and Allure. My trainer was like, "You need a last name. You need a last name," and I was just like, I don't know." And someone said Jasmine Allure, and my trainer was like, "Yes, that's perfect, Jasmine Allure." And I was just like, I was about to debut too, so I was like, "Okay, let's go with it, Jasmine Allure." And so at first it was like a princess gimmick, and then I was like, "No, I'm not feeling that." But I just stuck with my name, Jasmine Allure, but I kind of changed it. Like I'm top tier now, you know.
And I understand you have a boyfriend that is also in the wrestling business. What's it like having a relationship in wrestling? Because you hear some that turn out well and others it turns out to be a disaster.
Yeah, I heard that a lot again. I remember like when I met him and we started talking, I was like, no, no, I can't date a wrestler. My trainer said I can't date one, so it can't happen. But then I was like, oh, it's cool because critiques you, like he's honest. Like some people aren't gonna be honest in this business. They're just gonna be like, oh, that was a good match, and then he would be like, no, you need to practice on this. Like he's very honest. He's very helpful to like he doesn't bring me down. He like motivates me and he helps me out a lot. It's really awesome to have him, especially like, he knows the business. Like if I were to date another guy, they'd be like, why are you away the weekends? Why are you training so much? And he understands why I'm doing this because we both have the same goal. So it's really awesome to have him there. Um, I hope it goes well. I know a lot of don't go well, but I'm hoping this one does.
Yeah, you guys look good together. Any chance of doing intergender tag team matches in the future?
So there was gonna happen. It was gonna be against Bert Vixen and Prince Adam at APW, but it didn't happen because of COVID. But that was one of the plans. I definitely do want to do intergender wrestling with him. We got like matching gear now, so it's really cool. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, you are a little small to wrestle some of the guys, but maybe with your high flying and other techniques, you could still make it look pretty good. Have you had many intergender matches, just one on ones yet?
Not yet, but I'm really hoping to have this soon. I really want to do it. I feel like they're so fun to do, and I've had like practice matches, and obviously I've like done some stuff with the guys at training, but and it's super fun. So I can't wait to actually like get an intergender match like in front of a crowd.
Lance has a question for you. In your opinion, who is the wrestler of the year for 2020?
In general, or like in in Texas?
Well, let's hear it both in Texas and in general, because I would like to know who are the ones to look out for in Texas.
So Texas is kind of hard because like a lot of people didn't get booked, and a lot of people took like hiatus and stuff. Um, and I feel like in general, I gotta give my props out. You know, just overall, Thunder Rosa, who's been killing it on AEW and like has badass matches. I love her so much. She's amazing. Um, so in the Indies, oh, she's not really Indies anymore because she's like on AEW. But I think she's in such. I love her so much. But and I guess because she wouldn't be considered Texas anymore since she's like on AEW in Texas. Mm,
You should just say yourself.
um, it's a little bit biased, but it's not really because Bert Vixen has been killing it right now. Like she's like booked everywhere, like 3 times a weekend. Like she's booked everywhere. Like I can't wait to see what her future holds for her because she's amazing.
Yes, it seems like SWE has some of the top girls like Vert Vixen and Christy, who's now working with AEW. What is your opinion on Christy? Have you been in the ring with her yet? I know you're both baby faces, but we did an interview the other day, and she seems like she's a great talker and obviously very talented in the ring.
I honestly didn't hear what you said, but I heard great talker and awesome in the ring, and I figured
Oh,
you said Thunder Rosa, but I didn't hear the
Chris,
whole thing. Oh,
sorry, I
Chris.
was talking about Christy. What do you think of her? Because that's what I think of her from talking to her and watching her. So, what's your opinion of Christy?
Oh, I love her. She's awesome. She's also been trained by well at APW, so she would pop up. I remember like meeting her in the beginning of my career. She's amazing. I love her. She's given me so many like critiques and good advice. And like obviously she's a great wrestler. I look up to her. Um, and obviously like AEW and all the stuff she's done like in the indies. Like, she's also very lucha, so I look up to her in that sense as well. She's amazing. I can't wait to face her. Like it was gonna happen and then something happened and it didn't, but I can't wait to face her.
Ryan wants to say that you have a bright future in wrestling, but you're getting a reality check on Friday. What do you have to say about that?
Well, that's not true actually. The reality check is for Maddie. I don't know if you saw the last month, but she definitely got her reality check. I hit her with a belt, and it's gonna happen again next Friday. But this time, I'm taking the belt with me because I'm gonna become a new PPW Women's Champion.
Next Saturday, December 12th, is of course the next SWE Fury taping. Do you know who you're wrestling next Saturday yet?
Yes, actually, I just found out today I am wrestling Malio Saka, so I'm very excited because I know she's incredible. She has a long history of wrestling. Like, she's really, really good. I can't wait. I really want to show her I can hang with the vets and everything. I honestly am so excited. When I saw it, I was like, I popped. I'm so excited for that match.
I believe she was in WCW, wasn't she? Was
Hmm.
she in WCW? Yeah. If she watches this, which she might see this, what message would you have for her?
Oh my God, putting me on the spot. Nothing. Malia, don't underestimate my size or the fact that I'm small because I can go from mat wrestling to high flying and I'm top tier.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one. I'll actually be there live for that one. So that'll be my first time seeing you in action in person. Live
Awesome.
Free wants to say somebody, Tesha kicked you in the face pretty hard. Do you still have your teeth? That was a big time kick.
Yes, I do. I still have my teeth. And yeah, she like kicked me really, really hard. And I'm waiting for my rematch because that match was not that good because I lost. But it won't happen again. That was like my second match ever.
There's a fan on here that's asking if you're from Ring of Honor. I don't think you've wrestled for Ring of Honor yet. Where would be your
Yes.
dream company if you could wrestle for like Ring of Honor, Impact, anywhere? Where would that be?
Honestly, I'm all about experience. Like wherever life takes me, I'm just gonna like go there and then grab like all this knowledge from these experienced wrestlers. I don't have a specific company because if like I go to somewhere else or if I get like offered from like another company, I don't want to like see this and be like, you said you were gonna go to this one. You said you preferred this one. You know what I mean? So I don't have a preferred company. Obviously there's like some on the top of my list, but anywhere would be nice.
Ryan wants to know what's been your favorite match up to this point.
So I believe it hasn't aired, and I think it will be airing next Tuesday on Heavy Metal. But my match with Delilah Doom has to be my top favorite. I had so much fun working her. She's mean. And I felt the crowd. Like I was just so intense in that match. That is by far my favorite match ever.
And there's actually a match on this channel, Delilah Doom, I think against Tessa Blanchard, where she didn't win
Mm.
that one, but it was a good match. I was there for it, and she is talented for sure. Similar question from Furman. He wants to know who was your best opponent. Is it the same answer? Or is there a different answer for this one?
Yeah, it would have to be the same one. She's my best match, my best opponent so far. I love working Bert Vixen as well. She's awesome. I'm gonna be working her tomorrow at GCWA, so that's gonna be really, really cool.
There's a fan on here that thought you were one of our wrestlers. We have a company up here in Canada, and our longest reigning champion was named Lady Jasmine, and you look similar to her. She's bigger than you, but your facial features are similar. So the fan is noticing that. Would you ever come up here to
Oh,
Canada to wrestle?
I love Canada. I want to go there so bad. I have plans to go there, like even if it's not wrestling, like I do have few plans to go there because the country's so amazing. But I definitely want to wrestle there. Hopefully soon. Hopefully after this whole COVID situation has gone down. But yeah, definitely is my plan.
Well, we'd love to see you up here, but right now they're not allowing any wrestling here. It's not like Texas. So you guys are kind of lucky down there that it's not on full lockdown. Was there any months that it was totally closed there, or has it always been a little bit open?
No, it was definitely closed for like I say like 3 to 4 months or maybe five. It was everything was closed, so there wasn't even no training. So that's when I was like working hard on my cardio and getting my mindset right. But yeah, it was hard for a lot of wrestlers down here. I'm glad slowly it was opening up, and right now we have like some crowd. But yeah, I'm grateful that things have kind of gone back to normal.
I understand at one point in time you had a bull rope match, which you don't look like the type of wrestler that should get into a bull rope match. You don't want to get your face messed up, but how was that kind of a match and did it get bloody?
That match was chaotic. It was really chaotic. It was the first ever gimmick match I've done, or me and Bert Vixen have ever done. So it was new to us. It did get bloody. I remember like afterwards, my gear had Bert Vixen's blood on it. It was her blood. I didn't really bleed. It was mostly her. So it was her face that got a little bit messed up, but she's fine. She's beautiful. She's still beautiful.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you got out of that without any scars. Have you had any injuries yet from wrestling, or have you been okay?
So far, nothing really major. I think in like my third or fourth match, I got a concussion, but it was okay. I lived. So nothing major so far, and hopefully it stays that way. I'm still pretty young and I still have a long way to go, so we'll see. But hopefully it stays like that.
Yeah, you're in your very early 20s, aren't you?
Yes, 20.
I heard you say actually in another interview that sometimes you'll have men hit on you and you'll just say that you're a teenager.
Yeah, because I look young, so it works. So like go back away. Like as far as like there'll be some grown ass men that'll be like, let's go out, let's go out. Like and if I say no, they won't leave me alone. They're like constant like trying to hit on me and I'm just like really loud. I'm 16, bro. And then they'll be like, oh my bad, my bad. I'm sorry, and then they'll walk away. But it has happened a couple of times. I'm kind of glad I look young because it works all the time.
Yeah, there's not too much bad about looking young, other than maybe getting ID'd a lot, but I'm sure you're not that much of a partier. You seem like you're too busy to do much partying.
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone, all my friends are like, "Come on, let's go out." Like on the weekends, I'm like, I have shows on the weekends, or like, like let's hang out. I'm like, oh, I got a lot of work, or I gotta work. Like I got work to catch up on. It's yeah, I'm kind of a boring person when it comes to partying because I don't have time for it. Like I have so much stuff going on that I have to like focus on that. And then if I go out, I'm just like I gotta do homework when I get home. I gotta do this. I can't stay. I gotta wake up in the morning for work. It's I get so stressed.
Sean wants to know if you've been to Japan yet.
No, no, I haven't, but I will soon. I will soon.
I guess that's a place you'd like to wrestle for one of the companies out there, probably Stardom or someplace like that.
I know that's definitely like on my list. Obviously because of COVID, no one can really tell when I'm going, but hopefully after this whole COVID situation ends, like I really want to go over there.
There's a lot of fans on here that find you attractive, so lots of
Thank
positive
y'all.
comments. There's a fan on here, Nathan, that wants to know who is your favorite wrestler that you've actually met in person.
That would have to be Jazz, because obviously I looked up to her growing up. because she was like a woman, obviously, and she like, and I was like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it too. So really, like, I watched the matches with Trish. You know, the one at WrestleMania was my favorite, or still is my favorite. The one, her versus Trish versus Victoria, my favorite match of all time. And so when I got to meet her, and then they're like, "Oh, you're gonna wrestle her," I was like dying inside. That was my favorite moment ever. It is definitely my highlight of wrestling because I never thought I would like or wrestle her because I thought she was retired most of the time. So I'm really happy I got that moment.
I understand you've already won some titles. Could you tell us about the championships that you've held?
I've held one title, the APW Women's Champion. I beat it from Bert Vixen. Right now, I currently don't have that title, but yeah, that's one of the titles I have.
There's a fan on here that wants to know who has been your toughest opponent to date.
Mm, Jazz, she's just tough all around. Jazz is just one tough a woman, but she's awesome. So, Jazz.
He also says you look like the singer Selena. Thunder Rosa is a huge Selena fan. Are you also a Selena fan?
That's awesome.
When I interviewed
Wait,
Thunder
what? I
Rosa
didn't hear what you
sang,
said.
oh sorry, Thunder Rosa sang some Selena for us when I interviewed her. Do you sing at all? Do you sing at all? Oh, we might be freezing up here.
No, I cannot. I'm the worst singer, worst dancer ever.
Now, I've heard you say that you think you're lame, even though you do all this crazy stuff and all these people want to go out with you. Why do you consider yourself lame?
I say I consider myself lame when like it comes to going out and partying because I can't, you know what I mean? Or if I do, I'm just like I gotta like train tomorrow, like I gotta do this tomorrow, I gotta do this when I get home. So, and I'm just so focused on like wrestling that and like obviously like school because like I gotta finish school. But yeah, I'm really lame when it comes to going out and partying.
Did you ever train in any martial arts? Sean wants to know.
No, I wish and I really, really want to because I feel like that would help a lot in wrestling, but I haven't done anything. Wrestling is like the most physical sport I've ever done. I did soccer growing up, but it's not the same.
Were you a competitive soccer player?
Yeah, soccer player. I did it for like 10 years, a long time.
That's one of your secrets to being in top shape. I guess you had a good base from that. What is your workouts like in the gym?
It varies. Right now I'm like doing a lot of like full body, like everything, because I have a lot of matches coming up. But I I love to do cardio in there. I love to do box jumps. It varies a lot depending like my mood. I'm not a gym type of person at all because like I just get bored. Like I have like I'm more of a sports kind of person. Like tell me like okay, let's go play basketball. I could play basketball all day with you, or soccer, or like you know wrestling. I can do all day. But gym, I'm just like ugh, it's like I get my earphones on and then like I'll do some lights. I'm like okay, I'm bored. You know, it's like gym is not my thing, but obviously as a wrestler, you have to include it in your lifestyle. So that's what I've been trying to do, but it's really not my thing.
Now, I know you didn't train in martial arts, but do you watch MMA at all or follow that?
No, I don't actually wrestle really what I watch or soccer.
And I notice your abs are very good. Any tips on getting lean in the abdominals?
Oh, my abs. Honestly, I feel like it's mostly like the wrestling we do, like all the drills and stuff. I do like do crunches. I try to do like 100 a day. Or like I'm this type of person where I'll just be sitting down like while I'm like in my Zoom class and just like hard in my stomach. For some reason, I do that a lot. I'm just like, okay. Or I'll be like in Zoom class, but I always have my camera off and I'll just be doing crunches.
Well, it seems to be working. I'm jealous at how ripped you are there. I was listening to another interview that you did where you were saying in Texas Kool-Aid pickles are a thing. I've never heard of that. Is that just like the pickles are marinated in Kool-Aid? Is that basically it?
Yeah, no, I'm from Orlando, Mexico. Like I came here and like in school, people were trying to sell me this, and it's a thing. Like people love it, and it's like in a bag, and it's like pickles, and then it's like a little bit of Kool-Aid, right? And I'm just like, like, I mean, it's pretty good, but like I'm not really like into it that much, but like it's a thing. It's probably a thing to be honest, because I never saw that in Mexico. I never saw that in Orlando. It's definitely a Texas thing.
Yeah, they have them fried here in Canada, but not in Kool-Aid. So that's interesting for sure. Steve wants to know who you would consider the greatest Latino wrestler of all time. Could be male or female.
Male, Eddie Guerrero, obviously. I feel like you kind of have to say that. I loved him. Female, it's kind of hard because I remember growing up, there was never like a Latina wrestler. Like, I mean, I remember seeing Rosa Mendez, but she didn't really do much. Um, so I really love like when I met Thunder Rosa, I was like, oh, like Mexican American like me, and she's really badass. She's really good. So I definitely want to say she's like the all-time Latina wrestler. And Eddie Guerrero, male.
Someone asked earlier about your thoughts on Melina, who I think might be a little bit Latina. I'm not sure what her background
Oh
is.
yeah, she is. I think her last name's like Perez or something. I love her too. I honestly, I don't remember like growing up being like, oh, she's like a Latina figure because she didn't have like the Latina gimmick. But I would say she's really awesome. She's really good. I totally forgot that she was Latina.
Yeah, she's a really nice person too. I've met her a bunch of times. There was a rumor like 2 months ago she was going back to WWE, but unfortunately, nothing came of that. Furman wants to know who is your favorite male Texas wrestler?
Male Texas wrestler. Um, this seems like a question I will get in trouble later if I don't say my boyfriend.
Yeah, that might get you some heat unless it's one of the older ones. But you weren't even born during the Von Erichs days when they were taking over Texas, were you?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, you're probably born in the 2000s or
I
99.
was 2000 baby.
2000. Okay, wow. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. As far as where you think Texas wrestling is going to go, SWE Fury, they have the TV show. Now we know that WWE apparently isn't going to run that many house shows when they return. Do you think that like Texas wrestling can get popular again, similar to what it was in the old days once this pandemic ends, if it ever ends?
I think so. I definitely think with SWE, the platform that they have, it's actually made Texas one of the places to want to like wrestle in. You know, usually like people in Texas, they would say, "Oh, to make it, you have to get out of Texas." And now it's like other people are like, "Oh, go to Texas and wrestle." I see like Delilah, she's in California. She comes over here. I've been seeing a lot of people fly themselves, especially for Mission Pro Wrestling. A lot of girls fly from everywhere just to wrestle here in Texas, and then the crowd's amazing as well. So I definitely think Texas wrestling is getting better every year.
Red Nova wants to know if you can cook. I know you worked at a fast food place at one point, I think Whataburger.
I can. It's not my favorite thing, especially because I don't like washing dishes. So, like, if I cook, I have to wash all the dishes afterwards. But I can cook a little, like, Mexican food. I can cook some stuff, but I just kind of don't like to.
When you were working at the fast food place, were you doing cash or did you actually have to cook the burgers when you were working there?
I did everything. I didn't really, I'm never like, not really a fast food type of person. When I lived in Mexico, like fast food isn't really like, it's kind of non-existent. There is some, but not really. But I did everything because like I first started as a cashier and then I was like, oh, I'm getting bored. Like, show me how to cook, and then I would learn how to cook. Show me how to do this. Show me. So I learned everything out like the fast food industry because I got bored and I was like, I gotta learn something else. I'm just kind of one of those persons. I'm like, I gotta keep learning. Gotta keep learning.
Is there anything you witnessed when you were working at the fast food place that like would gross people out to know? Like you see on some of these movies that like some of the kids screw around with people's food. Does that actually happen, or is that just something that we see in movies?
No, that doesn't actually happen at all. You can actually get fined for that, like fired, but also like fined. So that doesn't happen. But I do remember like being like there was like food fights a lot, like the high school kids and I was in high school too, we would just like throw food, but it wasn't like food like for the customers. It was just like food that was like there.
There's a fan on here, D Guy Yo. He wants to know what's your finishing move called, and maybe you could tell us about your finishing move and why you chose it while you're at it.
So I'm still figuring out like what finishing move I want. I've been doing the frog splash a lot, and that is like right now my finishing move. But Jazz was like, "Oh, you have to do the satisfaction. You have to do it because like my size and like I'm petite and like it just look cool." So I have done the satisfaction as well. I do want to keep that a little bit more because it looks really cool and it gets a nice pop. But I am working on another finisher that I really want to perfect, and I really, really hope that I get to debut it soon.
Nathan wants to know when you're not working or doing school or business, what do you like to do for fun?
And like wrestling is what I like to do for fun. As I'm just chilling. But I also play soccer a lot, like with my friends. Like I'm just like, let's go play some soccer, or like let's go shopping. Like stuff that like I can do like because I'm not busy. But I love to shop. I love to play soccer. I just hang out with my friends, like not party because like that stuff stresses me out. But yeah, just hang out with them. I usually don't have time to hang out with them. I haven't like hung out with my best friend in like a year since I started training because like she has her stuff going on. Like she's come to my shows, but like it hasn't been like actually hung out. I love to go kayaking too. We have like a lake down here in Austin. I love that.
There's been a couple of fans on here that have mentioned that Steve Austin is actually from Texas. Do you have any thoughts about Steve Austin as a wrestler? I know he was a little bit before your time.
He was a little bit, but I do remember like him a little bit. Also, like my brother will put like DVDs and stuff, so replays. So I do remember him a little bit, not that much. I remember some of his matches. I remember my mom had a crush on him, so that's why I remember him a lot too, because she just had like the biggest crush on him.
Matt wants to know if you have a favorite soccer team.
Um, so I am from Orlando, so I love the Orlando soccer team, Orlando Pride. I love them because that's where I'm from. And in Mexico, I prefer Chivas Guadalajara. So, yeah.
Have you wrestled in Florida yet? Being from Orlando, have you been back there? Because Florida is like the center of the universe for wrestling these days.
Yeah, it is. I remember growing up, like I would see on TV like the performance center, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's like 40 minutes away from my like from where I live. Like, let's go." And then my dad's, "No, we can't go there. You know, that's for them." And like, yeah, I haven't gone back there since I moved away, but I definitely, hopefully soon. I know I have like some companies out there that like, want to book me, so hopefully I get to go back there soon.
Yeah, I'm going to be covering one in Daytona Beach, December 19th, the North American Wrestling Alliance. I'm sure they'd be interested in someone like you. They're using Amber Nova. I don't know if you've seen Amber Nova
Mm.
yet, but she's a high flyer, kind of like you.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I've seen some of her matches. She's been booked here in Texas a couple of times, but I've never actually met her in person. I've heard a lot about her, really good things, but I have yet to meet her. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie and TV show?
Favorite TV show right now? I'm watching a lot. The Rain on Netflix, which is about like a pandemic and how they're like surviving it. It's amazing to watch right now because of COVID. And favorite movie. I like the ones where I cry. So like The Notebook is like my all-time favorite.
Wow, you actually like to cry. Okay. Your boyfriend must love going to see those with you.
He loves Disney movies, so I've been watching a lot of Disney movies with him, which is awesome too, because I love Disney.
I guess living in Orlando, you probably went to Disney World a lot.
I actually went to Universal way more than Disney for some reason. I mean, I love Disney, but Universal's one, like, I love the fast rides, and Disney has like kind of more like kid rides. And ever since I was little, I was like, I have to like go on the biggest one, the fastest one, the one that looks like I'm gonna die. I love that one. So, like, the Hulk at Universal, I don't know if you've been there, but that was like, it was like the fastest ride ever. Like, and that's my favorite ride. I love that one.
And as far as Mexico, I've never been, but you always hear about how dangerous it is, especially to tourists and stuff. Is it as bad as people say? People say there's like corruption and it's full of crime.
Um, I want to say like it is very dangerous. I know my parents, they try to keep me away from the streets. So like I was one of those that are like, why can't I go? Why can't I go out with my friends? And then I would like sneak out, and nothing happened to me. But I did get assaulted once where they wanted my phone, and it was three guys against me. So one of them had like a gun to my face, the other one had a knife like around my stomach, and then the one behind me, I'm not sure what he had, but they just wanted my phone. And I had just gotten it. I was like probably 13 or 14. So I was like, no, you're not taking my phone. No, you're not taking my phone. And my mom was with me, but she was like, they didn't want anything from her. It was mostly me. And then she was just like, give them your phone, give them your phone. I'm like, no, that gun is fake. And they're like, why do you want to find out? Like, my mom's like, why do you want to find out? And then I just gave them my phone. But I was like trying to be this bold girl, like, you know, oh no, I'm not going to get assaulted by anyone. And then, yeah, I did get assaulted. But that's the only thing that happened to me in like 5 years that I lived there. So it's bad, but I mean, I thought it was worse.
Yeah, did you hear about Ashley Mazzaro's brother? It's been in the news. Did you ever remember Ashley from WWE?
Yeah, I do. I remember her a lot. She was kind of like always a fish in the beginning of her career.
Yeah, I think her brother was like randomly stabbed to death in New York City a couple days ago. So it can be
Yeah.
dangerous anywhere.
Yeah, it really is dangerous anywhere, to be honest. Like here, even here in Texas, I've heard a lot of stuff. So you just gotta be careful now.
Did they have police in your high school in Texas, or were you living in Orlando at that time?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Like here in Canada, there's not a lot of high schools with police, but we see in movies and stuff that like in Texas, for instance, a lot of high schools and movies have police when you watch movies and stuff. Is that true? Is there actually like?
Yeah, I'm in Florida. Yeah, I remember even in Florida, there was like always a policeman there, and like he would always like talk to us like every single year. He talked to every classroom, and even here in Austin, I remember like there was this drill we would do like in case like there was a shooting, which was really new to me. Like in Florida, we didn't have it, but obviously like times have changed. So when I moved back here in Texas, there's like this drill in case like someone comes in and shoots, like they tell you where to go, which is so weird. Like I feel like that shouldn't even like have to happen with like everything going on, but sadly, you gotta be prepared for that.
Yeah, the world is not turned into the greatest place. I'm gonna guess you probably want kids in the future after you've had your wrestling career. Is that something you want?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear like it's kind of cutting off right now.
Oh, sorry. Do you see kids in your future after your wrestling career? Do you think you're gonna have kids?
I do want kids, although it's kind of like hard to say right now because I'm like 20 and I'm just like no kids for me right now. That's like my motto. But yeah, I definitely want it in the future. Maybe when I'm like 40 or 35.
Red Nova wants to know your thoughts on Rey Mysterio Jr.
Oh, I love him. I love watching him growing up. He's definitely one of the persons I like to study because he's small like me. So I like to watch him a lot, especially like in his WCW days. I personally am a big fan of him ever since I was little. I remember watching him in the stands. He's definitely someone I look up to a lot.
My dog came up here to say hi to you. Do you have any
Oh
animals?
my god! Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a girl, Piper.
She's so cute. I actually have a Shih Tzu, but he's over there, like sleep in the living room. He's just like minding his business. He likes to be everywhere. He just likes to walk. But right now he's in the living room. He's so cute too. Oh my god, your dog is she's so cute. I love dogs so much.
Oh yes, they're great companions. Where can people follow you if they want to look you up on social media?
So on my social media is Jazmin Allure, and you can buy my merch at Pro Wrestling Tees /Jazmin Allure. But everywhere else I'm Jazmin Allure. Doesn't change.
Furman wants to know, what do you think about Texas Wrestling Review? I guess he works for them.
Yes, it's the best page to follow in Texas because they are so updated with everything and you will learn a lot just by looking at their news feed. Definitely follow Texas Wrestling Review.
Kaled wants to know if you're a fan of Conan, one of the Mexican wrestling legends.
I didn't watch him a lot, actually. I've heard of him, but I haven't watched him, so I'm not a fan. Sorry. Hopefully he
Oh,
is. I know he's like a promoter for certain
yeah, you
companies.
don't want to say that because he actually is the booker of AAA in Mexico.
Yeah. So like
You know?
so let me rephrase that. I wasn't a fan, but I am now. I didn't watch him that much, but I wasn't that much into wrestling. Now I am. So I am a fan. Let's edit
Yeah,
this out.
yeah. Well, it's live, so we can't. But I've interviewed him, so hopefully that won't get back to him. I'll put him over. I'll put you over to him if I see him again. But yeah, he's the booker for AAA, and he also helps book Mexicans in Impact and MLW.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I've heard, so hopefully I didn't ruin my chances.
but also he was famous like in the US when he was in WCW. He was at his peak, which it was out of business around the time you were born. So we can't blame you for that. Nathan wants to know. Oh, there was another question. Sorry. who you would tag up with as a tag team partner in a future match.
So I said before I have matching gear with my boyfriend right now, ASF. So I definitely want to tag with him. But as far as like a woman, I'm not really sure. I haven't really thought about it. So right now I'm more pursuing like the solo career. But anyone I would really love to. Like I love to learn a lot of stuff from all these wrestlers. So if anybody wants to tag with me, I'm open.
And winding it down here, Steve wants to know if you could have dinner with any three big name wrestlers, dead or alive, who would it be?
Three wrestlers. I'm gonna go with my like top woman wrestler, which is Trish Stratus, because I love her. Um, Animal. I met him at SUE, and rest in peace. He was amazing. I spoke to him a couple times, and he critiqued my matches, and he would have the best advice ever. So I would really like want to down and talk to him again about wrestling. And then Undertaker.
Well, now that you bring up Animal, I did a bunch of interviews with him. He worked for our company up here, Great North Wrestling in Canada. What was that advice that he gave you? Because he always gave me advice too, and he was a great guy. I think that was his last appearance ever at that SWE show before he passed away.
Yeah, so it was mostly also like about my match, how I could like do better and stuff, which was amazing because obviously I'm still very green and like I still need a lot of critiquing. And then obviously he told me, he's like, I like your attitude, keep it that way because your attitude will get you so far in this business. Wrestling, it is about wrestling, but if your attitude sucks, it won't get you far. So he's like, just keep that same attitude you have because I think there was somebody that had like a really bad attitude and he was like, don't be like them. You seem really awesome, so just keep that attitude. And so I always keep that with me, stay humble and, have a great attitude.
Have you ever had anyone try and rough you up in the ring yet, being that you're smaller, like someone take advantage of you in there? Because I've heard that happens in Texas wrestling actually fairly often.
No, not yet. And I'm kind of glad that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, I was always told the same. That you might get rocked by some girls. They might like, take advantage of you because of your size. But luckily that hasn't happened yet. So hopefully it stays that way.
And last fan question I'll ask you tonight is Kale wants to know your thoughts on Lita.
She's one of my favorites too. Also one of my favorite matches which is Trish versus Lita, and when they main evented Raw. So she's really awesome. I also like obviously I was a big fan of Jeff Hardy, so when it was Jeff Hardy, Matt, and Lita, I was a big fan. I love her. She's definitely an inspiration. Her and Trish were like my top two women wrestlers to watch growing up. So I definitely love Lita.
And to close this off, SWE Fury next Saturday, December the 12th, Greenville, Texas, not too far away from Dallas. If fans in the Texas area want to come out and watch this show, why do you think they should come out? I mean, Mark Henry's going to be there, Charlie Haas, Tim Storm, some great female wrestlers, Teddy Long. But why would you tell them they should come out and watch this event?
I mean, you already said it all. Like all these wrestlers, that's like already a lot. But just the wrestling itself, it's a little bit different than the independents. It's more old school. They're trying to bring back old school wrestling, but it's more psychology. It makes more sense, and you can follow along. Like if you're a new fan, you're gonna get it. It's not gonna be like spot. What just happened? Oh, he just won. You know what I mean? It's gonna be more storyline. Obviously, the women's division is taking off as well. So it's gonna be that the December 12th show is gonna be amazing. Mark Henry, like you said, is gonna be there. Jazz will be there. It's just gonna be overall amazing. The product that they're putting out there is incredible, and I'm so excited to see what SW Fury has for the future.
Not to mention Rodney Mack and Kevin Sullivan are also going to be there. And as I told your opponent, when I edit matches for this company, sometimes the girls' matches are really bad and I have to chop sections out. And sometimes I get annoyed editing them, but it was like a true pleasure when I was going through your match and the other matches from SWE Fury because I actually enjoyed them. I think you're really good, and I think you have a lot of potential. So, thanks for doing this interview with us. Matt wishes you all the best as well.
Thank you.
I'll let you close this interview off however you want. I'll give you the floor, plug whatever you want, and say whatever you want to the fans.
Thank you so much for having me. Hope to see you on the December 12th show at SWE in Greenville, Texas. Follow me on Jazmin Allure on all social media. Talk to Jazmin Allure says goodbye.